Infinite Dendrogram Episode 4. So we have Ray and Rook and Babby and Nemesis all going across the road on a wagon for to deliver their goods that they had signed up for on the last episode. And we find something interesting about Rook. Since he's chosen the pimp job, like he said in the last episode, he can actually tame monsters, and he's done a quest off screen, and he was able to tame this Triceratops, literally this dinosaur. So, the dinosaur is literally like pulling the cart, and so they come across what I assumed last episode to be adventurers, but no, it's just a bunch of titans, and they're merchants, and they're just trying to do their best to survive, because in this world, that's their reality. And those were the people that were being onset by the goblins. And so Ray and Rook and them decide, you know what, we're going to take those goblins down. Bam, bam. And they go out, and all of them make quick work of them. Babby gets up to her second form, where she can literally drain the lifeblood out of the enemies, and like make them sort of like attack each other, but almost like in a trance, sort of like lust way. And it goes back to the whole thing of Babby being a succubus, and it's just really creative what they did. And so then after the fight's done, Nemesis is talking to Ray, and she's like, man, they're already up to their second form. I hope we get to be there soon, but you and me are built for one-on-one combat. We can't like really take down a whole bunch of enemies at once. It's mean like we take down one big enemy face to face, and you know, that's a little bit of foreshadowing for what's going to be happening in this episode. So one of the Titans runs up to Ray and starts shaking his hands, and starts telling all of them, thank you so much, thank you. Me and my family would have been dead without you. And then just as he says that, like a death flag, the big orc Gababala, or however you say it, that we saw at the ending credits of the last episode, comes jumping down from the sky, I don't know how, and smushes the guy to smithereens, to a bloody pulp. And basically, Ray says his catchphrase, the whole, that, you know, that them dying would leave a bad taste in his mouth. And this goes back to the fact that you gotta remember, these Titans won't wake up like the Masters or like the players will. Once they're dead, they're dead. They're gone forever. So, effectively, Ray is super, super mad now. And so, he and Nemesis start going at the orc, and they start slashing him and nicking him, and boom, 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 boom. And then Ray comes up with a plan to where if he can slash at him, get a few hits in, but then let the orc attack him, it's like first shot, it's like 900 points of damage he takes. He uses fast heal, and that gets his HP up. He like takes another shot, he uses fast heal. He's like, okay, I can do it, because you know of the whole vengeance is mine thing. And then all of a sudden, this sort of like smoke just sort of billows out of the orc. And from the way the orc's tusk is or something, I wouldn't be surprised if that's like a Japanese sort of like Buddhist demon sort of Shinto thing. If any of y'all are familiar with Japanese religion and stuff, kind comment down below what that is, because I'm sure that's got to be a real world correlation. But anyway, the smoke, and as soon as it hits, Ray, he gets the weakness debuff. He gets the intoxication debuff, and he gets poisoning debuff. The weakness debuff basically takes all his stats and just decreases his stats by however much. The intoxication basically makes him dizzy and makes him not be able to stand correctly and stuff. Basically makes him act like he's drunk. And the poison, of course, drains his XP and poison. So he's still going, slash at him, barely keeping up. Oh, and by the way, Rook and Babby took Rook and flew Rook up above the smoke, so they're fine. And also, before I forget, Maria is also there, the journalist, and she's basically, her whole function in the party is to she can't like fight, but just her being there will give the party, like, each person double XP of what they need. And so back to the fight, Ray is just keep on slashing, and he takes another hit and a counter absorption, and it finally, after about 4 hits and about using up one of his counter absorption, he goes in for the kill, and he jumps up, and right as he's about to jump up and stab the orc in the head, the orc shoots like a fireball out in front of him, and Nemesis uses the counter absorption, so he's out of counter absorptions. Remember that. And Ray goes in and stabs the orc right in the head slash chest, like literally from like his head to about right here. You can basically just see his shoulders, but he's got about, like, all this is just gone. But he's still moving around. And remember, Ray is still intoxicated and stuff. But then all of a sudden, Maria just is like, "Hey," and throws a what do you call it? An elixir right in his face. The glass breaks, and the contents spill on him, and it removes all his status effects, so he's good to go. Actually, I think that happened before he done his final move, but sorry about that. I'm just getting too excited. So Ray's wondering, why in the world is he still alive? And by the way, before I forget again about the whole Marie throwing the elixir at him, that could have hurt with the glass. I'm sure it probably did. So that was just funny. But back to what I was saying, I'm a little scatterbrained here. So Ray's got his sword up, and he's like, "How? That didn't um that that didn't kill him, but all that's gone. His heart is gone." And then Ray flashes back to what Cheshire told him in the last episode that I forgot to mention. Cheshire said the orc's heart is in his stomach, like in a metaphor way, but what he meant was he knew this fight was coming up, which is weird because it's like, oh, this game is supposed to be organic, and it is, but I guess certain aspects, like if that orc is known to travel that area, and you know as a AI that Ray is doing that, like, you've just as the whole entire system, you're able to track Ray's movements. I guess you can calculate the probability that that's something that's probably going to happen on his way to Gideon, but that's besides the point. But here's the thing that's really bad. He's out of counter absorption, and his HP is very, very low, and all. So he's tired all, and while he's trying to figure all this out, the orc literally out of his shoulder grows two eyes and finds Ray and is about to kill him. And then this thing on his screen, his hood, comes up and it says, "Would you like to cancel?" Da 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 da. It says it in that weird sort of like admin language that Cheshire used to sort of block what was going to happen. And so Ray's down to the wire and he decides not to cancel it. And all of a sudden, Nemesis disappears. And it's like almost like flower petals or blocks. And then it says activation of javelin or something like that. And she literally turns into a javelin. Literally, she's turned into her second form. So remember what I said in the beginning of this review? Basically, that was foreshadowing. Then Nemesis has the ability of reverse flag. That was the name of this episode. Basically, what reverse flag does is um any status debuffs you have, it flips them on his head. So he's got weakness, which for reverse flag means all his stats go way up. He's got poison, which means he's no longer poisoned, so he can run for that stuff without having to worry. He's got intoxication, which means his agility actually goes up. And all and the thing about poison is, since he's got reverse flag with that second form, his HP is actually regains. He actually regains HP instead of loses HP. So it's really cool, and he gets free um free free counter absorption. So he's actually got one left. So remember I pointed that out at the beginning of the review. So yeah, he's ready to go, and he's like, "This is nothing to me," and he keeps stabbing and all that and nicking him, and but Nemesis tells him, you know, they can still use counter absorption, and any hits he takes, it still would, you know, still would work with Vengeance's mind, but he can't use Vengeance's mind. So wait a minute, he has to basically let his entire guards down just to take a shot when he gets ready. So he decides, okay, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna do to this or like was done to Achilles, and he literally starts hacking at the the orc's um heels and legs and brings him down. But while he's doing this, the orc keeps knocking him back and he keeps regaining HP. But then comes the time when the orc is down and he's going to have to switch it off. So all of his status of effects go completely back to normal, and basically he's losing HP again. And the thing is, he does it when he's got a little bit of HP, but he's got one more counter absorption, and he goes in, and um, he's like, I'm going to do this with Nemesis in her sword form, and the goblin fires off a fireball, and is like, um, he's like counter absorption, and so he goes through it, but just before he's about to aim at the heart, the the orc shoots on another fireball, which means the orc has learned, so these monsters can learn. They just don't do like a pattern like in a regular video game. And so when it just seems lost a fireball out of nowhere, like the ones that the um King of Destruction, the superior embryo that burnt the forest can use hits the orc and basically negates the fireball, and then then Ray comes in and is like, vengeance is mine, and basically cuts the orc in half and defeats it. And before I forget, I've completely forgot about this point. So Rook and so remember how I said that the orc basically jumped out of nowhere? Well, actually, he didn't. He actually was riding this sort of like falcon, sort of like eagle type bird, and so the bird was going to attack Ray, and then Babby picks up Rook, and they basically fly off to head off the bird. So while all this stuff I've been talking about happens, remember Rook and Babby have been fighting the bird, and so when Rook and Babby get done, when Rook and Babby get done, no, I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. When Ray and Nemesis get done fighting, here comes Rook and Babby on top of the eagle sort of falcon type thing, and Ray understandably is like, I'm ready to attack this thing. I'm ready to finish it off. Yeah. And then Rook is like, no, wait. I I've tamed it, and he showed Ray at the beginning of the episode that he had this thing that he got from the taming the Triceratops, is the fact that he's got, it's almost like another embryo, but it's really a jewel, and it helps him like tame monsters. And so he tamed this this bird falcon thing after its master died, which was the orc. And here's something interesting. It's not really harped on, but um the bird thing is a she, the dinosaur is a she, and Ray points that out sort of like haphazardly, and the whole thing that Rook is, his job is like a pimp job, that it points out that while, because Rook is underage, the game probably won't allow anything that is adult rated. The game, the pimp, sort of the watered down job version of the pimp in this world for Ray, since it's adjusted, it's appropriate to the player's age, is that he can basically train and basically like Pokemon catch. Like literally, that's what it looked like um when Rook basically called the dinosaur back earlier in the fight, is that he can basically tame female monsters. So it was sort of like ha 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 last episode when we were like um Rook didn't didn't understand what a pimp was, but he thought it was a monster training position, and it is. But because he is his age, that's all it is. If it was someone who was 18 or older, it would have more adult themes to it. But the Dendrogram actually selects like the different level of like content based on your age. So if you're underage, you won't be seeing any adult content. And if a job like pimp include could include any adult com, um, content, with the fact that he has a succubus as a embryo, could include adult content. The game basically nerfs it to where it's only like PG-13. You know what I mean. But anyway, I think that's does it for this episode. There was a lot of action, a lot of fighting. Oh, and before I forget, again, scatterbrained here. Um, After the battle's over, another Titan comes over and is like, "Thank you so much. My family and I would have been dead." And we get a pan shot of there was a whole bunch of like a merchant caravan, so it wasn't just one family that saved; it was several. But then we also get a pan shot of like there's these 4 or 5 dead bodies on the ground of like Titans, and they're covered with sheets, and we see like this box, like sort of like the what I thought of as the universe rift and Gravity Falls. If y'all seen that Disney Channel show, and Ray's like, "What's that?" It's a and and basically Maria, I think, explains that is basically um a Titan coffin, and when the guy uses it, the Titan's body literally, what I would describe, transforms as data and basically goes into the like little box. So apparently they'll bury the person later when they get home. But yeah, now I think that's everything. And Ray also mentions that, this game is way too real. Is this really just a game? And then one more thing. I know I keep adding stuff on y'all, but then we get like a shift over to this guy in this room with these computer screens, and he's obviously going to be the big bad. He's like, "How did y'all defeat that monster? I wanted that monster to become the biggest, baddest thing." And like in a little uh, um, experiment, like he's obviously wanting to create havoc, and he's the one that set that orc the way it is. And then he mentions this odd thing that sort of parallels with what Ray was saying just a few moments ago. He said, "You enjoy your victory while you can. For all you know, this is just a game." So that hints that maybe even though while the players access it for a gamehood, maybe this really is another universe that the admins created. And with the whole thing with the Beast of Destruction and the Professor that we saw in episode 2 at the beginning of that, maybe there is a broader faction that wants to use the players, the naive players, to actually take over this another world and actually stay in this world, like knowing that this is a whole nother real universe. That this isn't just a game, but they're using the fact that it's marketed as a game, and the fact that if you die, you can go and, you know, be out for 24 hours or something, as a way of thinning out the Titans, sort of like the evil players are sort of trying to do, like a very sick version of the Trail of Tears, you know. But now everything I think I've talked about. Let's say prayer. Dear Lord, I thank you for this day, and I thank you for everything you give me, God. I hope that lots of people will have enjoyed this, and I hope they find my insights interesting, Lord. In Jesus' pray, can always do away, and may this channel get lots of subscribers, and may lots of people enjoy this. Amen. And remember to send in your prayer requests if you have a prayer request for school or work or just anything in general. And I hope y'all have an awesome day. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. That really does help out the channel. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers before the year is out. I've been working at this YouTube channel since the summer of 2016. So 3.5 years. So let's try to get to 1,000 subscribers. Let's make this channel big, guys. Anyway, that's enough rambling for me. Bye bye.